Imagine waking up tomorrow to complete silence. No buzzing in the gardens. No bees drifting from flower to flower. It seems peaceful at first, right? But what if that silence was the first sign of a global catastrophe? What would really happen if all the bees on Earth disappeared? The truth is far scarier than you might think. It starts quietly. Scientists notice a disturbing trend. Bee colonies are collapsing at an unprecedented rate. At first, it's just a headline, something you scroll past. But within months, the silence becomes deafening. Farms that once hummed with life fall eerily quiet. The flowers bloom, but no bees arrive to greet them.
Oh,
Without pollination, crops begin to fail on a massive scale. It's then that humanity starts to understand something terrifying. Bees weren't just insects. They were the invisible workers keeping our planet alive. Did you know that 1/3 of the world's food supply exists because of bees? Think about your favorite foods. Apples, almonds, blueberries, melons, avocados, even the coffee you drink in the morning gone. They rely on these tiny pollinators to produce fruit. Farmers desperate to save their livelihoods try hand-pollinating millions of flowers with tiny brushes. But it's an impossible, back-breaking task. It takes a single bee colony mere hours to do what a team of humans couldn't accomplish in weeks. The impact hits the supermarkets almost immediately. Shelves that were once overflowing with fresh produce start to empty. First the berries, then the melons, then the nuts. Prices for what's left skyrocket, making healthy food a luxury only the wealthy can afford. Nations fall into a state of panic as entire food chains begin to collapse from the bottom up. It's a crisis that no one saw coming, and it gets worse. The problem isn't just about human food. Animals that rely on bee-pollinated plants for their own survival start to disappear. Cows that graze on alfalfa and clover lose their primary food source. This means meat and dairy products become scarce and expensive. Birds, small mammals, and countless other insects that depend on these plants and fruits begin to starve. The disappearance of one tiny creature triggers a global domino effect, a biological meltdown that scientists call the pollination crisis. The vibrant green and colorful landscapes we know start to fade into a monotonous, barren brown. With widespread food shortages comes chaos. Governments, trying to protect their own populations, restrict food exports. International tensions rise. Black markets for basic foods like apples and honey emerge, controlled by criminal networks. In a desperate attempt to fix the problem, billions are spent trying to develop artificial pollination drones. Tiny flying robots are sent out into the fields, but they are clumsy, expensive, and nowhere near as efficient as a single natural bee. The world learns an uncomfortable and humbling truth. Our most advanced technology can't replace nature. Faced with the brink of collapse, humanity finally wakes up. Survival becomes the world's only priority. People begin planting wildflower corridors along highways and in their own backyards, creating safe havens for any remaining pollinators. Cities ban the harmful pesticides that contributed to the bees' decline. In high-tech labs, scientists work around the clock, attempting to clone and revive bee populations from preserved genetic material. It becomes the largest, most urgent environmental rescue mission in human history. The fate of our species now rests on reviving an insect many people used to swat away without a second thought. Slowly, painstakingly, a glimmer of hope appears. The first successfully revived bee colonies are reintroduced into protected forests and farms. A faint buzzing returns. Gardens, once silent, begin to bloom again, this time with a newfound appreciation. The world, scarred by famine and chaos, realizes just how fragile our existence is and how deeply interconnected we are with the smallest creatures we often ignore. The great disappearance of the bees becomes the ultimate warning, a lesson that changes how we treat our planet forever. So, what would happen if all bees disappeared? The world as we know it would starve, economies would collapse, and ecosystems would crumble. But this future isn't set in stone. The power to prevent it is in our hands right now. By protecting them, we are, in fact, saving ourselves. What's one thing you would miss the most if bees were gone? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories on what would happen if. Thanks for watching.